Welcome to this edition of Your Ticket to Baseball Nostalgia. This is Dan Busby, baseball ticket collector, researcher, and author. My first baseball book was entitled Before and After Babe Ruth, a story of the New York Yankees as told through the lens of tickets and passes. In this edition of Your Ticket to Baseball Nostalgia, we are covering the first and last games of the professional baseball career of Jackie Robinson. This is all based on my book, Before and After Jackie Robinson, a story of the Brooklyn National League team as told through the lens of tickets and passes. Today I'm sitting in a couple of old seats that were used at Wrigley Field decades ago, and I would like to share with you about Jackie Robinson's breaking of the Major League color barrier. Jackie Robinson of the Kansas City Monarchs, second baseman Marvin Williams of the Philadelphia Stars, and outfielder Sam Jethro of the Cleveland Buckeyes tried out with the Boston Red Sox on April 16, 1945. The tryout took a little over a year to arrange and lasted only 90 minutes. The Red Sox did not sign any of the three players. With the charade of the tryout forgotten, the Boston Red Sox finished in 7th place in the American League in a year when they desperately needed players because Johnny Pesky, Ted Williams, and others were in active World War II duty. The Red Sox also passed over an opportunity to sign Willie Mays in 1950. In fact, a Negro player did not appear in a Red Sox uniform until Pumpsie Green was added to the roster in 1959, a long 12 years after Jackie Robinson made the Brooklyn Dodgers team. Branch Rickey, Brooklyn Dodger general manager, signed Jackie Robinson late in 1945. The Dodgers assigned him to their Montreal Royals farm team for the 1946 season. On March 17, 1946, Jackie made baseball history as he became the first black man in the century to take the field alongside whites in a scheduled game for which admission was charged. The game, at City Island Park in downtown Daytona Beach, was between the Montreal Royals and the Brooklyn Dodgers. After completing spring training, the Montreal Royals opened the season on April 18 in Jersey City, New Jersey, against the Jersey City Giants in front of a capacity crowd of 25,000. This was Jackie's first game in organized baseball. While some opposing fans shouted racial slurs, others, many of them black fans from Harlem, Brooklyn, Philadelphia, and Baltimore, cheered Robinson's impressive performance. Jackie grounded out in the first inning. Then, with 2 on in the third inning, he hit a 3-run home run. When he crossed home plate, he was welcomed by George "Shotgun" Shuba. They would later be teammates on the parent Dodger club. In the 5th inning, Jackie laid down a perfect bunt for a hit, stole second, went to third on a groundout. He rattled the pitcher to the point of causing him to balk, and Jackie strolled home. In 5 at-bats, he hit safely 4 times, including the homer. He stole second twice and scored 4 runs, 2 of them on balks teased out of pitchers befuddled by his daring and quickness. Oh yes, the Royals won 14-1. Jackie led the AAA International League that season with a batting average of .349 and in runs scored with 112. While the Royals won the league pennant. Robinson was also a key player in the Royals' victory against the Louisville Colonels in the AAA International League Little World Series. Well, let's move forward to 1947. Robinson trained with the Dodgers in the spring of 1947. The Dodgers moved north and arrived in Brooklyn to play 1 game at Ebbets Field against their Montreal farm team, which included Jackie. On April 10, Jackie Robinson, playing in a Montreal Royals uniform, went hitless against the Dodgers. In 13 exhibition games against the Dodgers in Panama and Cuba, he hit .340. During the 6th inning of the same April 10 exhibition game, a brief press release was given to the sports writers in the press box. It read, "The contract of Jackie Robinson has been purchased from Montreal. He is to report immediately." The next day, on April 11, Robinson was now in a Dodgers uniform, ready to play 3 exhibition games at Ebbets Field against the New York Yankees. While the Dodgers clobbered the Yankees 14-6 on the 11th, Jackie was hitless. However, he did bat in 3 runs and got a hold of a couple of balls One was a harmless foul deep into the left field wing of the grandstand and laid down a pretty sacrifice. Wearing number 42, he was at first base the entire game. Here's the ticket for the second exhibition game against the Yankees on April 12. It is marked Game 3 because the first game of the season at Ebbets Field featured the Montreal Royals versus the Dodgers, and Game 2 was the first exhibition game against the Yankees. In this game, Jackie Robinson got his first hit as a big leaguer and batted in the Dodgers' only run, but it wasn't enough to beat the Yankees 8-1. This is a very important ticket because it is the ticket to Jackie's first hit playing in a Dodgers uniform. Over the 3 exhibition games, Jackie drove in 5 Dodgers runs and played errorless ball at first base. After a day off, it was time for opening day, April 15, 1947, at Ebbets Field. Playing at first base, Jackie Robinson went hitless, but he sacrificed nicely to advance Eddie Stanky after he walked during the winning Dodger rally in the 7th inning. Robinson's speed caused Earl Torgeson of the Boston Braves to make a hurried throw to first, and the ball went into short right field, and Stanky reached third and Robinson second. This set the stage for Pete Reeser's double that brought both runners in to score, and the Dodgers won 5-3. Can you imagine having a pass to every game the Dodgers played at Ebbets Field in 1947? Talk about being in baseball heaven. General Manager Branch Rickey hired Barney Stein as a photographer to help get photos of the Dodgers in newspapers on a regular basis. Stein became famous, especially for his photos of the Dodgers. The season pass is well used because Stein was a regular at Dodger games in 1947. Let's fast forward to the last games of Jackie Robinson. The final day of the 1956 season was played at Ebbets Field against the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Milwaukee Braves could still force a 3-game playoff, but only if they won on that day and Brooklyn lost. In the bottom of the 3rd, with 2 out, Jackie Robinson hit his 10th home run of the season. It was the 137th homer of his career and also his last. The Dodgers were 8-6 victors over the Pirates that day. And once again, the Dodgers were champions of the National League for the 2nd consecutive season, their 6th time in 9 years. The World Series was another hard-fought round with the Yankees. After 6 games, it was Brooklyn 3 and the Yankees 3. Clem Labine was the winner for the Dodgers in relief during Game 6. Following the game, Jackie Robinson was being interviewed by reporters. Clem Labine stood to his right. As Jackie waxes eloquent, he is holding a full unused ticket to Game 7 in his left hand. At that moment, he did not know that he was holding a ticket for the last Major League game he would ever play. How ironic. The Yankees won Game 7 and the World Series. In the Dodgers' 7-game World Series loss to the Yankees, Jackie drew 5 walks, scored 5 times, blasted a home run, and had 1 game-winning hit. He struck out in his last professional at-bat, but fittingly, he went down fighting. Yankees catcher Yogi Berra had to throw him out at first base after dropping the 3rd strike. Jackie's last years with the Dodgers were not harmonious. He disliked both manager Walt Alston and owner Walter O'Malley, whose power play forced Branch Rickey out of the Brooklyn front office in 1950. The Dodgers brass was hoping Robinson would step down gracefully, but Jackie refused to announce his retirement. Finally, the club forced his hand by swapping him to the hated New York Giants on December 13, 1956. Jackie was the embodiment of the loud, brave, contentious Dodgers. Now he was being assigned to his team's greatest adversary. Early in 1957, Jackie retired instead of playing for the Giants. When the Dodgers assembled at Vero Beach in the spring of 1957, the absence of Jackie Robinson was conspicuous. Their spark plug was gone. Without his fiery presence on the field and in the clubhouse, the players felt the team's foundation was cracked. Jackie was inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame in 1962 and passed away in 1972. What an incredible career. 1 year in the Negro Leagues with the Kansas City Monarchs, 1 year in the minor leagues, 10 years in the major leagues, and 6 years later he became a member of the Baseball Hall of Fame. Well, thank you for joining us for this edition of Your Ticket to Baseball Nostalgia. Watch our other Brooklyn Dodger videos covering the Dodgers and Jackie Robinson's career. This video is based on my book, Before and After Jackie Robinson, a story of the Brooklyn National League team as told through the lens of tickets and passes. For more information on old baseball tickets, go to baseballticketman.com and order your copy of Before and After Babe Ruth and Before and After Jackie Robinson on Amazon. Plus, watch for my third baseball book, Before and After Satchel Paige. And a special thank you to Daniel Herman, who shot and edited this video.